Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Falling Off the Floor podcast. This week, we have a special guest, Sydney Brandon. Sydney and I connected through social media. She is a former naval officer, now content creator, world traveler. You got a lot going on.
A lot going on.
And I will let you introduce yourself.
Well, I got out of the Navy 2 years ago, almost exactly to this month. Wow. And since then, I've just been, for the last 2 years, on this journey of figuring out what was next for myself. Yeah. And so I think through that, I've just been sharing that journey on Instagram, really. And that just started as really a photography account, like a passion travel photography account that ended up evolving and ended up giving me some interesting connections, I guess. Yeah. And so I've kind of just run with that. And now I think through sharing my journey, I'm realizing that I'm having other people come to me in trying to take these next steps of change for themselves. And so it's been interesting for me to sort of see what I do with that, or like how I can help them or what I can offer them. Yeah. And I think that's sort of how, I guess, Blue Latitude, which is the brand and business that I'm trying to build and create now, is sort of evolving as a way to, I guess, be helpful in how they can take those next steps of change or expand their perspective or really understand who they are to the core and live a life that's more aligned with who they are and really have in that be able to live to the fullest, I guess. So I think that's kind of my goal with it, and we're just seeing how that turns out.
Well, that's quite loaded in terms of what you've been able to achieve in the last 2 years. Tell us a little bit about the journey getting to the Navy and why you chose to go into the Navy, and ultimately why you decided to move away from the Navy and into the role that you're in now.
So I think, you know what, people ask me this question obviously for, I guess, the last 8 years of like, why did you join the Navy? Yeah. And I always find it to be such a hard question for some reason. Yes. Because I think I wanted to do something different. I think I saw a couple girls ahead of me in high school, like having really unique experiences. Those two girls in particular went to the Air Force Academy and went to West Point. Yeah. So it was interesting to see what they were doing. Like, you know, their education was free. They were doing really interesting things like on their summer trainings. And I just thought, I think I would like to do that, you know? I don't come from a Navy family at all. Like my family probably to this day really doesn't know much about the Navy. I think they try to understand. But I think I think the concept of service or being part of something bigger than myself. And I liked that it was kind of a unique experience that like I didn't understand at all. So I think maybe my curiosity in that I was intrigued of like, okay, this seems like a unique path, a unique direction that I don't know anything about. It seems like if you're picking a path, you should know about the direction. But
yeah, exactly.
I guess maybe that's where my curiosity came in.
Awesome.
And I knew enough to step into it. But yeah, so I think I appreciated my time in the Navy. I know, like, I post a lot of things about change and like getting out of the Navy and like what, I guess, enjoying that freedom and flexibility in my life now. Yeah. But I think I always want to be careful to never like bash my time in the Navy or the people that I serve with in the Navy, because I would never change that. I would never change that part of my life.
It served a purpose.
Yeah. I think it set me up well, and I think I learned a lot, and I wouldn't, if I could go back, I would do it the same. So.
Yeah. The Navy is a very rudimentary thing, as I could imagine, and the lifestyle and freedom that you have today is probably not even comparable in any way, but it definitely taught you lessons. And now you're an entrepreneur, you're leaning into your own business, and that takes dedication and focus. And we talked a little bit about focus before the podcast, and I think you and I are similar in that way, that we're like grasping at all these different things and throwing darts at the wall until something hits. And that also takes a ton of dedication and time. So you being in the Navy, what were some of those lessons that they taught you early on that have stuck with you to this day?
I think probably, I guess the biggest thing is like to show up.
Yeah.
Like I think if the Navy teaches you anything, it's to show up. And I think another big thing that I got, I guess on my first tour, like when I checked into my first ship, I went on my first deployment, I had some sailors that I think I had this attitude going in that was a little bit like I had a good upbringing. I had a good like life. I never had a really rough childhood, and I feel really fortunate for that.
Yeah.
But going into the Navy, you see like that's not everyone's situation. And so some of the sailors on my first ship, the things that they had dealt with in their childhood and in their life, like just to have a place to sleep and like 3 meals a day on the ship was more than they grew up with. And so I think it made me, I guess it afforded me a lot of gratitude in that sense, because here I was like, oh, I'm an officer sleeping in the enlisted berthing with 40 other girls, and like, why don't I have a stateroom, you know, like so entitled in that respect. But it was like, you know, like this is more than some of them had coming in. And I was kind of, I guess, a deeper meaning to this. I was like the SAPR victim advocate, so sexual assault prevention and readiness. Yeah. And this is like, you go to a 4-day course, and I'm like 22, right?
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to like take these reports and be able to like help these sailors that if they deal with sexual assault or anything. Yeah. So typically they like a female officer to have that role, and like, not that sexual assault is just about females, it could be anyone, but I had a girl that was really her story and her childhood and just like history of, I guess now we're getting deep into this, like rape and sexual abuse. Yeah. You know, she's like explaining all these things and like coming to me like sobbing multiple times a day on the ship. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea how to handle this. Like I'm 22, like I'm not qualified to like help her through this trauma. But I think just going back to what you're asking is I realized how good I had it, and I realized the struggles and trauma that others were dealing with in their life. So I think the sailors put a lot of that into perspective for me, and like gave me a lot of gratitude for like what I have in my life.
It's amazing.
I think that's like such one thing that it taught me, but it gave me a lot of gratitude, I guess. Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people at our age still to this day, they don't have those experiences. You know, this is a podcast where we talk a lot about things like mental health and abuse and addiction. And what I find in my day-to-day is that there is still a stigma around these topics, and it is solely because people don't know anything about it. They don't have gratitude for what they grew up with, and by no fault of their own. I grew up in a very like upper middle class family. Everything was like good in my childhood for the most part. Like I actually myself had a pretty messed up childhood, and I've talked about that on the podcast. But from the outside looking in, it was like a very normal upper middle class like American life.
Yeah.
And there was times, like the first time I went to rehab, looking at the people around me and like judging them. And I'm no different than the person I was sitting across from. I was still the person that was struggling with substance abuse, but we had totally different upbringings. Mm-hmm. And similar to what you were saying, like having a bed, having 3 meals a day, having counselors, having therapists, all this like structure, I thought of it like, oh yeah, like I'm paying to be here, like this is what I have. And there's people that were coming in off the streets that they hadn't experienced that in years. So there was that period of learning that gratitude, and I try and always give people grace. That's something that I talk about a lot, is giving people grace, because people say things to me where they're like, oh, they made the choices to be addicted, they're choosing to live under the bridge. And I can guarantee you no one wants to live under a bridge. No one like wakes up one day and is like, I want to be homeless and addicted to drugs. That's not like, no one's making that choice. That wasn't the plan. So I really appreciate you saying that, like learning that gratitude. And thank you for working on that sapper program on the boat, because, yeah, I mean, as a 22-year-old, you're like, what the fuck?
I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't feel qualified for this.
Yeah.
I think
a lot of times it's just a sounding board.
Yeah. I think the other, try to say it quickly, story with that is there was another girl that was, if you like have suicidal ideations on the ship, you're on like suicide watch, and you'll have sailors like rotate through and like sit in the room with that person. So there's like a watch rotation for it. Yeah. And there was a sailor once that was reporting a sexual assault I think it was in her childhood. But she was also on suicide watch. So they sent me down there to talk to her and take that report.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, you know, we got into talking about other things and like kind of her mental health. And I remember asking her, like, I remember saying, like thinking, I have no idea how to handle this. Like, I have no idea what the right thing to say is. I have no idea how direct to be. And I just remember, I don't know why this came to me. And it's interesting to reflect on now, actually, as we're talking about it. But I asked her, like, is there any piece of, like, happiness or piece of joy that you can think of right now?
Yeah. And
I'm like, again, like, I don't know how to talk to her. Like, I don't know how to handle the situation, but I was just like, is there anything happy? Like, is there any piece of joy? And I think she said her nephew, who was like 8, like an 8-year-old boy. And she was like, that was who she felt like she was living for.
Yeah.
Or all she had to live for at that moment. And so I just remember saying, like, to like cling on to that, or like have a picture of him, or like hold that like piece of hope.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a good thing to suggest at the time. I don't know that I was confident in recommending it, but it just, yeah.
Well, you recommended a good thing in terms of like professional therapist or psychiatrist or whatever. That is like one of the most basic tools that they give you, is to find your happy place.
Yeah.
And like you can build it in your mind. I, for years, have had the same happy place. I'm envisioning it as we speak.
Love that.
And when I was really struggling, there is those moments where you can pull yourself out and think about those happy things, and it calms you down in the moment. And yeah, that's amazing that you were able to do that. So living on a boat like that, you're out at sea, I'm assuming, for a long time. Mm-hmm. You don't see land. It's a constant grind. You're up at the same time, which rudimentary schedules in my life are actually really good. I wish I could keep to like a Navy schedule. It would make my life a whole lot better.
Yeah.
What was that like, being out on a ship where you don't have access to your normal day-to-day life, and maybe not pulling out your phone and checking Instagram or calling your family every single day? What did that teach you, and what was that like to be out on a ship? Like, I've never experienced that. Like, I've been on cruises where you're like at sea for X amount of days, but what was that experience like?
I think so. Now ships are starting to get Wi-Fi, so your like normalized life is starting to be a little bit, as far as like communication with your loved ones or your spouse or whoever, that's getting a little bit easier. But on my first deployment, there's no Wi-Fi. And you know what I would say, though, what it does give you is presence. Yeah. Like, you are very present with who you're with. You get very connected to the people that you deploy with and that you're working with, that you're standing watch with. Yeah. I had someone come to me on Instagram recently, maybe a couple months ago, and they said, I just don't feel like any of the officers that I'm working with, people that I'm working with, understand me, or I don't feel like I can connect with them at work. Yeah. And I think they were leaving for a deployment, and maybe they just kind of felt like alone at work in that sense. Yeah. And I told them, like, I don't care if outside of work, if you would like probably never hang out with this person, or like never think you would have good conversation with this person or connect with this person. Yeah. I feel like being on the ship and like living that life together, or like being underway for 2 months and finally pulling into a port and like having that excitement of like seeing a new city in a different country, like it just bonds you together in like a unique way with people that maybe in your, regular outside of work life you wouldn't normally connect with or talk to. So I think it gives you presence with the people that you work with, being really removed from, like, there's no distractions. There's no go hike a mountain, go dive in the ocean, like go out on the boat. I mean, you're on a boat, but like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're not going sailing or something. Like, you probably don't even see the water half the time. The ship's big, you're literally in a box. Yeah. And so I think for me, that was hard on my first deployment. I felt like these things that I enjoyed in life were kind of all taken away from me when I went underway. Yeah. And I think that was a little bit hard to adapt to, maybe. You're also like, on my first deployment, I'm like getting qualified and I'm like in the whole grind of figuring, I'm just adapting, I'm like right out of college, like whole different life. But in that routine, I actually found, so going into my second deployment, I was not in a good spot mentally. Yeah. And I was really worried that, like, I didn't trust myself to, like, support myself. I felt like I needed all these external factors in my life, all these people to, like, help support me where I was at. And I felt like going on deployment, all that was, like, being stripped away because it was a new command. I didn't know anyone, and I was really scared. Yeah. Actually. And, in hindsight, it was actually exactly what I needed because it simplified my life. Yeah. And, like, I was in a place where I wasn't excited about anything. I didn't know. I just wasn't excited about anything. Like, it was an accomplishment if I could eat 3 meals a day and get outside and, like, try to walk or something. I was in this survival mode of, like, just try to do the daily tasks that you need to, like, be healthy and live. Yeah. And that's how I was going into deployment. But while that seemed scary at the time, like, deployment, like, forced me into a routine. It forced me, like, all you got to do is, there's 4 meals made for you a day. All you got to do is walk down the hall and eat. Yeah. Like, there's no barriers to that, really, if you can just walk down the hall. You also have, like, responsibility of places to be that you're, like, people are keeping you accountable, like, they're showing up with you. You're with people. Yeah. And while they're new people, you do get to know them quickly because you are living with them and working with them full time. Yeah. So you do create those relationships really quickly, and you do create that routine really quickly. Yeah. And there's no distraction. There's no options, like, you live the same day over and over and over. Yeah. And while that's maybe not always exciting, it is routine, and it does, like, can force you into like healthy habits. Like, what you can do for fun is, like, workout, Yeah. Like, you can go work out, like, or you can, I don't know, journal or read or watch a movie. Like, that's what you're doing kind of for fun on a ship. For sure. Those are your options. So I think it can actually be really productive to you. And I joke with my friends now, they're like, oh, I'm going on my, like, self-care underway, because it, like, forces you into these, like, daily habits that are good for you and can be. I mean, that's the positive spin on, I guess, underways or deployment is like I came out of that deployment and I went into it in the worst place of my life mentally, and I came out of it great, Yeah. And it was a process, but, like, I came out of it, like, in the best shape I've ever been, like, in years, and just, like, really solid as a person. And I had no idea that I was, like, exactly what I needed in a way. And
it's funny, I in those same ideologies, like, in terms of mental health or rehabs or therapy or whatever, it's very similar to the military. Like, the program that I got sober at is called Foundation House, and their whole thing is the foxhole. So they call, like, you walk into their offices and there's a massive foxhole, like, like sandbags, and it looks like an army foxhole. Okay. And that is the whole thing that they press, is that, like, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, whatever. We all have this one thing in common, that we're struggling, and it creates routine. And we need to wake up on time and keeping each other accountable. And it sounds like very quickly on a ship like that, you build that accountability with others, where maybe someone's not waking up on time, or they're struggling mentally, or they're struggling to eat the 4 meals a day, that you all kind of have each other's back. And that was the whole idea at that program that I went to, was we're all in this foxhole together. And they have a golden bell at the entrance, and if you ring that bell, you're out. Like, if you touch that bell, they're kicking you out of the program, like no questions asked. And that all came from like the ideology of the military. Like, if you ring the bell,
wow, that's interesting.
you're done, and you're quitting, you're out of the foxhole. And that, just listening to you talk about this, I was like, whoa, the guy that started this program, I like see where he got all these things from, and it's connecting a lot of dots in my own head of like, wow, that whole process is truly what saved my life. I was living on the streets, and I'd lost everything, and that rudimentary schedule and having people look out for me. We had to wake up early. We had to make the beds perfect. The sheets had to be perfect if we came, and they did house checks and the sheets weren't perfect. Shit's getting torn out. You're on, it is a very like military thing. So
interesting.
Yeah, I was like sitting here listening to you, just like my brain was going in a million different directions of like, whoa, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not on a ship and I'm not in the military, but I was fighting a demon, that's for sure. And those ideologies that you just spoke to are truly what's saving like millions of people's lives.
I don't think I ever applied it. Obviously, I only experienced it in my own life I thought this thing that would be maybe not the most exciting or fun actually was what I needed and helped me. Yeah. And I think it's interesting, like now for the first time in my life, or, these last 2 years, like I have this freedom and flexibility, and like no one's telling me what to do every morning that I wake up except for me. Yeah. And I'm trying to learn how to manage myself in that. And like I'm trying to, as much as you want the freedom and flexibility, I also thrive in the routine. But now like I have to enforce the routine, which is really hard to learn how to do. But I think we're talking about two different environments that have similar. They enable you in similar ways, or they force you into routine. Yeah. And I think for me right now, I've been hopping around so much traveling that I've realized that I'm not putting myself in an enabling like environment to what I'm trying to accomplish routine wise or work wise or productivity wise. And so I'm realizing now like I need to prioritize that and give that to myself a little bit more. Because I think with the travel, it's like the energy I could be spending towards, like building Blue Latitude or work or thinking or ideas or whatever. I end up spending like, okay, where am I sleeping tonight? Where's the grocery store? Where can I work out? Am I staying in a van? Like, what's the cooking situation? So I know what to buy at the grocery store. Yeah. And so a lot of energy goes to figuring out the logistics of like your basic life needs. Yeah. And so I'm trying to really through the rest of the year and hopefully forever, like give myself a little bit more, I guess, and prioritize like where I'm able to put my energy. Or like if I'm going to go on a trip and I'm going to live that lifestyle, I need to like look ahead and be like, okay, how can I guess to branch off of this, one thing I've been focused on through a different program is like my replenishment cycle. Yeah. And like, what do I need to do every day for myself to be happy and energized and show up for others and like feel productive and feel good about me and what I'm doing. And so when I'm looking ahead towards my travel, I'm like, okay, how do I tick off all those things in my replenishment cycle based on this new environment? Or just like making sure I'm looking out for myself in that sense versus just tossing myself around to be like, I'll adapt, I'll figure it out. So
that's something that I feel like I've been gone the last month. Like I told you, where we're recording this podcast, I moved into 24 hours ago. And it's been a pretty spin cycle-y last month of like hopping all around, and finding that routine can be difficult when you're like flight to flight, place to place, driving around, going from a hostel to then we were like in a van for a few days. Like,
Yeah.
so I appreciate you bringing that up because I think that's also applicable to anyone's day-to-day life. And I think especially people that are in the 9-to-5 grind, they have this ideology of like, I need to wake up in the morning, get to work 9 to 5, and my like Monday through Friday is just gonna kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll tell friends, I don't have time for anything.
Mm-hmm.
You got time in the morning and you've got time from 5 to whenever you go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it is all about having those goals and having those things set in place ahead of time to be like, you're leaving on a trip tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm going, to Salt Lake tomorrow to sort of switch out my stuff. So all my stuff stays in Salt Lake. My car's in Salt Lake.
Nice.
So I normally like switch out my bags every like 2 to 3 months of like, I got to think ahead, like, okay, where am I going to be for the next 2 to 3 months? When am I going to be back with this stuff? So what needs to go in my bag for the next it's like, you got to figure out the logistics of what you need and where you're going to be.
Yeah.
But I normally have like right now I have like clothes for Bali and clothes for Norway. And then I was like considering partnering with this business on this trip in Pakistan. And I was like, okay, well, if I have clothes for Norway, then I have clothes for Pakistan. So I'm good there.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go back through Salt Lake. But it's like constantly the logistics of like, okay, what do I need? What clothes do I need? And my bag just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Because now I'm also like trying to focus on like my health and my routine and like supplements and like different like health things. And I'm like, well, I have to bring those because I'm trying to keep that intact for myself. So then my bag just keeps slowly filling up.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is now a travel essential because I'm focused on we can't break this health routine or this whatever. So
which is another thing, like we were just saying, like having that plan ahead of time and figuring that out, because the worst feeling is getting somewhere where you're like, okay, I'm going to be here for a few months and you don't feel grounded at all during those 3 months. Mm-hmm. For me personally, that's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Like a non-grounded Austin is very haphazard. I have the worst ADD since I was like 2 years old, that if I don't have certain things in place, I'm not able to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
2 winters ago, I was on the road for 4 months. We were filming. I'd also launched this podcast, and I was not prepared for what was hitting me. And I'm like, I've got a bag for the podcast, I got a bag for this, and I'm like all over the place. Luckily, it was in one season, so I'm like, okay, only winter essentials.
Yeah.
But that whole winter, I felt very ungrounded. There was times I was in a place for like a month and never felt like I could like take a deep breath, and that's because I was not in any way focused on checking the box of like, okay, I did this for Austin today.
Yeah.
I love coffee. It's a really important thing to me.
Yeah.
I like wake up and have a routine. I have water in the morning. I have like lemon water in the morning and my coffee. And when I don't do those things in the morning, I'm like off kilter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people without coffee are off kilter in the morning. But just that routine of like getting up and being able to do those things. So I just learned something from you in terms of like, I do need to do that beforehand. And if I am choosing, okay, the next 3 months I'm going to be on the road, having that planned out ahead of time and not just packing bag and being like, I'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
Replenish.
Yeah.
I like that.
The replenishment cycle.
Yeah.
I learned that from a program that I went through called the Life Plan, which I'm now getting certified as a guide to facilitate the Life Plan. So I just it's not official yet. I probably shouldn't say that yet. I don't know. But I'm like applying and I'll interview for it. And so that is really something that I felt like these people are coming to me trying to, like, they're not happy with where they're at. They're not happy with their jobs. They're like searching for like this next step or this change or this new direction. And they don't know what it is. And I think what the Life Plan kind of gives you is like this deeper understanding of who you are and why the things that you value matter to you? Like, where did you get that in your life? Like, where did that come from?
Yep.
And also defining like your purpose, and then also applying your career opportunities or what you're doing, or like the issues that you're having, and like tying that all together.
Yep.
To it, like, and it's impossible to come out of that without clarity of yourself, like who you are and the direction that you're going. And so going through that, I actually connected with the guy who went through it with me through Instagram also.
Wow.
And I was inquiring on, I like to watch kind of the online sales process, or like how people are funneling from like webinars to just like their whole sales and marketing process online. So I pay a lot of attention to how people are doing that.
Yeah.
But there was one, a veteran was like starting this VA. It was a program to like utilize your VA loan on properties. And so I haven't used my VA loan.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, it's on my list of things I would like to do and take advantage of. So I was like,
home base.
Yeah. Like I was like, I'll get on and like, see what they're doing. I like the free information. Give me all the free information online. So anyway, I ended up getting on a sales call for the program, and it was like this guy, Jason. And, we talked about the program, but we also just ended up finding like connection and alignment on other things. And so he started following me.
Yeah.
And he started realizing like, hey, I think this would be really fitting to her. And he's like, hey, this is, really random. I was like ranting one day in my stories about who knows what.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, really random, but like, I think you'd be really interested in this program. And, long story short, I ended up going through it with him a couple weeks ago, and he didn't say it at the time, but like he told me after the fact. Yeah. He was like, I almost said to you, hey, I think you need to become a life plan guide, like with this, like the company's been around for like 20 years. Yeah. And so they have this like proven framework, like Walt Disney has been through it, and Sadie Robertson, and like all these like very notable people. It's a very, like, they have a proven framework to like walk people through to give them clarity and like what they're doing in their career direction. And that's something that I've been just like, I guess, trying to figure out. Like all these people are coming to me already saying, I want to make this change. I need to go a new direction. I think I'm interested in that. Like, I'm not happy with where I am. And I'm like, how do I help them? Like, what can I provide for them? Like, what sort of framework can I lay out to like give them this clarity for themselves? And so I think going through that, it was just kind of a no-brainer. I was like, oh my God, this is what they need. And I was thinking I would just, kind of partner or affiliate with Jason's business facilitating it. Yeah. But then going through it, I was like, well, why couldn't like I facilitate this for someone? Like, I have people already coming to me for it. So that's something that's like, it's a year-long certification process. And so I'm kind of pursuing that right now, but I'm really excited about it. And I think it was such a good experience for me. And I was like, oh, everyone needs to do this. Yeah.
Well, now I feel like I'm almost convinced to do
your life plan.
Do my life plan.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I often find myself getting asked by people, you should be like a life coach, you should be a sober mentor, you should be a mental health mentor. And I've thought about it a lot, like in terms of my world that I work in and live in, having somebody to connect with and learn how I did it, but then also apply it to their life. It's been on my mind for a long time. So maybe something like the life plan coaching could be a path for me at some point.
It's funny because you say life coach, and I think I have so much resistance to like sometimes the things that I'm saying or like how I'm talking to people, I'm like, how this feels like borderline like life coachy, and I'm like, what gives me the right or like credibility? Like, I can't be a life coach. Like, I'm 29. Like, I feel like I should be 80 to be doing that or something, like lived a whole life. Yeah. And it's interesting because I have a lot of resistance to being like I'm like, I don't want to be a life coach. Like, I'm like, that's not my goal. I don't want to be that. But it's interesting that sometimes I border that role in conversations that I'm having. But I think for me, like, facilitating a specific framework and program through like a business that's been doing it for people for 20 years gives me the like confidence in what I can offer, because there's so much credibility in like testimonials like backing it. And I don't have that, I don't have something I've created where I'm like, yes, I've walked 50 people through this in the last week, and like they're
Yeah.
thriving because of it. Like I don't have that today. I
Yeah.
would love to, but I don't. So
Yeah.
I think having that answer through them is like something I'm really excited about
That's so cool.
doing with people.
My whole thing is trying to help others. Like that is, I think you posted something on your story yesterday about,
Oh, the doors.
was you, the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
saw that from a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like a line of people at different doors of like the first people to critique, the first people to, I don't remember what all the doors were.
Yeah, I think it was like to criticize, to something like to become involved with,
Yeah.
to encourage, and to help.
Yeah.
And there was only 2 people in the line to help.
Yeah.
And like majority of them were in the line to criticize.
Yeah.
And it's
My whole life has turned into, in a lot of ways, helping others.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God for my therapist. She is incredible.
Helping
because
you.
helping me.
Yeah.
Because that, again, back to what you were saying, like the replenishment. I give and I give and I give, and I like give. Yeah, I give to others, and I forget to give to myself a lot of the times, and that has put me in a place, not so much recently, but in the past of, at the end of the day, my cup was only halfway full.
yeah.
And if you would have asked me, I would have said, oh, it's over brimmingly full because I helped this guy get into a rehab, and I recorded a podcast today with somebody, and we talked about X, Y, and Z. And at the end of the day, I was pretty unhappy with me.
Yeah.
And there was a huge imposter syndrome going on. Like you were just saying, like, you don't feel like you have like the notoriety or the testimonials yet, and you're using this program and framework because it's like, why would anyone trust what Austin has to say? Why would anyone trust what Sydney has
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah.
You know, and I've lived in that imposter syndrome for so long, and I think in the last probably like 2 or 3 years, I've really leaned into, it doesn't matter, and I don't really care what people think about what I'm doing. I'm just going to continue doing it, and I've continued doing it, and people really like it.
Yeah.
And I wake up in the morning, and sure, everyone has bad days, but for the most part, I wake up almost every day thinking like, wow, it is pretty crazy to think that I was living on the streets 8 years ago, and now I'm like sitting here
Yeah.
speaking with someone I just met, and it already feels like I'm speaking to a friend, like creating those connections in that community that fills my cup at the end of the day. And community, connection are the most important things in my life. And that community and connection can't happen unless I'm filling up my cup too.
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
I can build the community, but I also have to be able to build Austin. So.
Yeah. I feel like in the way that you show up, like you have to be able to show up. And if you're not energized yourself, like it's really draining to show up for other people or try to, and you won't show up the same.
Yeah.
So I feel like we were talking about traveling, and I think there's this presence about being able to just go travel. Like if you're, I think it's behind like what your intention is and what your priority is.
Yeah.
And I was just telling a girl the other day, she reached out and she's working like a corporate job right now, kind of in the marketing side of things in real estate and like luxury real estate. And she's 23 or 24, and she's like, I want to go travel. Like I want to go backpack in Southeast Asia, and I think I want to move to Australia and New Zealand and do like a working visa for a year. And so she was asking me like my advice on that. And I guess I was kind of trying to ask her intention, because I think she's interested in building her own business, potentially on the marketing side of things or going more the creator route. Yeah. And I think when you're traveling or hopping around, it's like, is your intention to like travel and explore? Is your intention to like travel and explore like 30% of the time, but still have like a normal work routine the other 70?
Yeah.
Like, what is your intention? Because like, if I were like, nothing's pulling at me to do, which sometimes I try to ignore. I'm like, no, I just want to be present. I just want to travel. I just want to enjoy. But I found over the last year is that I can't ignore this other side that's pulling at me, which is like my whole building Blue Latitude side of things is like, there's this whole other purpose and thing that's pulling at me that's taken me a long time to, I think, define or understand. And I try to be like present in, oh no, I just want to go to this place to like explore this new place.
Yeah.
But really I have this thing that's pulling at me as like this productivity to like this whole other thing that's pulling at me that where I want to sit down and I want to work.
Yeah.
And my partner said to me the other day, he was like, all you ever want to do is work. And I think it's so funny because, well, sometimes I feel like I'm just paralyzed in thought and I'm not even actually getting anything done. That's a whole nother conversation, I guess. But I was like, I don't really feel like I'm working. Like, I'm really excited these last 2 years. Like, I've been just so excited to wake up every day. And I guess work, technically, sure. But it doesn't feel like work. It feels like I have, like, such an emotional attachment and, like, purpose. There you go. That's pulling me. And I think it's taken me a long time to define. But it's become something I can't ignore. And when I do ignore it, and I'm like, oh, no, I'm just going to have fun. I just want to go explore this new place, which I still do. But if I'm not ticking those boxes of, like, fulfilling this, like, building this bigger thing or having this purpose that's pulling me, I'm really unhappy with myself.
Yeah.
And so that's something, like, in my replenishment cycle, like, I wrote down on my days, like, I have to accomplish, like, one thing for Blue Latitude every day so that I feel like I'm like taking baby steps in this direction that's important to me and that I like care a lot about and is really just like an extension of me to the core is what Blue Latitude is. Like it's just me. It's an extension of me. Yeah. So
I saw something the other day relates to this where it was the difference between a vacationer and a traveler. And I think there's a time and place to vacation, and there's also a time and place to be like a traveler where it's just part of your life. You can't let go of, let's say your home base is in Denver, Colorado. We're in Denver right now. You can't let go of everything you've built here, your businesses, your life, whatever. Even if I spend probably 6 months out of the year away from Denver, the ship has to keep running. Like I still have to show up for people. I still have to record the podcast. I still got to run the business. Like these things have to continue to happen. And I think that was tough for me in the beginning when I was traveling because in my head I was like, no, I need to be fully involved in this place and I need to focus on Switzerland. I'm in Switzerland and all the focus has to be there.
You feel this like obligation to explore it. You're like, I'm here. I have to see everything.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like also set that aside because you have this like, for me, I have this like drive to explore, but then I also have this other thing pulling me to be like productive and work on this like bigger purpose that's pulling me. And so it's been hard to balance.
Yeah, for sure.
And figure out like what does that balance even look like for me? Like what do I need? Like what is the balance?
Yeah.
I think balance is a big thing. It's like balance with everything. Like we're always fighting for the balance.
Yeah. And God, balance is
hard.
Something I feel like I never have, but at times I feel like I do have it really dialed. Like I just went to Costa Rica with my partner and her and I had a blast, and she's a business owner as well, but she owns like private preschools and she needs to be like involved, and it is very much a 9 to 5 and they had a little summer break, so it's like, let's go to Costa Rica. And she's in full vacation mode of like, boom, boom, boom. Oh my God, we're seeing these amazing things. Like we're in this van, we're traveling all over the place. And in my head, I'm like holding the camera like, fuck, I've got this piece of content that I need to get for this brand. And like the van was given to us for free for 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, we got to film this and that. And I'm constantly feel like I am in that work mode.
Yeah.
And similarly, like she's an entrepreneur and gets it, but there is that difference of a vacationer versus a traveler.
Yeah.
where sometimes I do idolize that my partner is able to fully disconnect.
Yeah.
Like, go to Costa Rica and fully enjoy it. And in the back of my head, there's always something pulling. Like, I can't quite do that. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because she feels similarly in the fact of, like, you're always kind of on, you're always kind of working, and we joke with each other about it. But, yeah, it takes a lot to live this traveler lifestyle of, like, going around the world and wanting to experience the cultures and the food and the people fully, but then also we have a life at home that has to keep running, or like the traveling and stuff. One, we can't afford it, and we're passionate about what we do, and we have to keep that ship running to replenish. And so traveling is obviously a big part of your life. What do you have coming up? I know you mentioned Bali, Norway, possibly Pakistan, all very much places that Norway is really high on my list. I was just on this 7-day rafting trip that...
Yeah, it looked amazing.
I've been on some crazy trips in my life, and this fully blew my mind. And I was a vacationer. I did have my camera, and I was shooting a lot, but there was a joy in the shooting. Like, it wasn't
work
like
shooting.
super focused. Sure, there was a little bit of work, but it was like at the core of what I do. Like, I'm a photographer and videographer that has branched into a lot of different things, and I still have a passion to just shoot landscape and shoot candids of my friends having the literal time of their lives. Like, that makes me happy. And I was fully disconnected.
It's hard to get there.
Satellite phones aren't even connecting. Like, you're so deep in the canyons, you can't get access to satellites. And there was this level of disconnect. And a couple that was on the trip is going to Norway this winter, and they're doing a 7-day ski and sail trip.
I've always wanted to do that. I want to do that so badly.
So they're like backcountry skiing all over Norway, but sailing to each location, living on the boat. And I was like, what?
So cool.
I had heard about this, but to like hear them talk about it in detail, I was like, whoa, this is really badass. So a little bit of a tangent there, but you've got Bali, Norway, Pakistan. What are these trips involve?
We hit on focus before, and so what I've realized over the last year is I'm trying to do like 10 things at once, and then I just inch forward on all of them. Someone made a comment the other day. It's like if you let 30 rabbits out of the cage and you're trying to catch all 30, you probably won't catch any. But if you focus on one, you'll probably catch him. And so I'm like, okay, which one is my one again? I think I have maybe 4 now. But we're getting there. But my plans. This is a question people ask me now. So what are your plans again? Where are you living again? And I'm like, I don't know. It depends on the month. But
same here.
So I'm pretty sure I'm going to Bali. I'm pretty solidified in that. I'm going currently, like tomorrow I'll go to Salt Lake, and then I'm gonna go support my friend Lizzie in the Sierras. She's running 223 miles on the John Muir Trail to raise money for a program that supports sexual assault survivors.
This is
amazing. I didn't realize why she was running, and when I did, I was like, oh, I have to go. So I'm going to drive. And then it's a lot of logistics to like support someone, like food and whatever, over big 223 time. Miles. So I'm going to do that. And then go to Bali. Amazing. For the visa's like 60 days. So I'll stay 60 days. Great. And then I have some family, like over the holidays, I'll come back to the States. I have a wedding to go to in December. I was planning on going to Pakistan in the middle of all that, but I was like, this is too much. I think what I've realized is like there's all these opportunities that kind of come your way, and it's important to filter out like what is aligned with what you're actually trying to accomplish. Versus like being like, oh well, this is a good opportunity. Like selectively take them and like intentionally pick what you're doing, because again, you can't do everything at once. It's what I'm learning, So and then Norway. You're talking about Norway. So I am planning my first kind of hosted trip in Norway next May. So I think that's May 11th through the 23rd is kind of the dates I've settled on. And the guy that I mentioned, Jason, that's been facilitating for, 13, 15 years now, kind of change with people in the life plan. Like he's built a business around facilitating that for people and for businesses.
Yeah.
So there's 2 offers there. But anyway, in working with him, we're starting to work together on incorporating how he can play a role in the Norway trip, because
Amazing.
I think you can go anywhere to travel, right? Like you can take people to travel anywhere, but having like a deeper intention and like transformation and something that you're really coming out of the trip with is something I want to accomplish with the Norway trip, which I think will kind of more become like retreats, maybe not so much a trip, which I think is a little bit of a separation there.
Yeah.
But so that's my first one, and I think my intent for next year with that side of things, I had originally planned to be going to like Papua New Guinea now and in September, and Mongolia in October, and I was interested in like Bangladesh and India, and those are kind of some destinations that I'm looking to build out the future trips. But I was like, okay, I can't do all of this at once. I need to like slow down in my vision for things. So I think, I'm focused on launching my online community is 1, and then 2, building out the Norway trip. So kind of those are my major focuses right now. And then I think next year I really want to hit those other locations travel-wise, so I can kind of vet how I want to host trips, retreats in those locations, because ultimately I want it to be really immersive travel and interaction with locals, and kind of, I guess like I'm focused on the idea of like expanded perspective and gratitude for that type of things, which I think those countries can really give you, and especially the locals can. So I think that's something like I'm personally, I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of that type of travel. So I'm really excited about it in terms of like my own perspective and personal growth. And I just want to trickle that down for other people to have a taste of as well. So that's kind of my direction with that I'm hoping to explore and figure out how I want to incorporate into Blue Latitude throughout next year. So,
well, group trips I'm starting to get very interested in. I actually have a meeting with this guy on Wednesday about hosting a group trip. And like you were saying, there can be such deeper meaning to travel. I think a lot of people feel like they can never travel, like it's unobtainable.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to people that are making 6 figures a year, and they're like, oh, I can't afford to travel, or I can't take the time off. And I'm like scratching my head.
You're like, what?
What?
Yeah, same.
What? Like, there was years that I wasn't making anywhere close to 6 figures. And like one year, I think I made $36,000. I went to 9 countries in 19 different states with $36,000. And that was through like leveraging my social media and like getting like things. And at the end of the day, even if I didn't have the social media following or being able to leverage that, I still would have traveled.
Yeah, you still can. You don't need the social media. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't need it at all.
You don't need it literally at all.
Yeah.
Like what we post on social media about travel is in a way like glamorizing travel, and like it's not all glamorous. No. And I think when people see things on social media, they're like, man, like I'll never be able to do that. They grow up in a small town in Indiana and their families never left Indiana, and they're like, I'm never going to be able to travel or see the world. And in reality, if you have 3 weeks of PTO from your corporate job, that's 3 weeks you can spend in other places. And I promise you it's a lot cheaper than most people think.
Yeah.
We just got back from Costa Rica. We're there for, I think, like 12 days or something. And then I went on to another leg of a different trip. I was just talking to my girlfriend last night, and she's like, we spent like no money.
No money. Yeah. It's cheap. It's cheaper than living. Like when I was in San Diego, I'm like, it's cheaper for me to be not there, not living there, and being traveling full time than be living there.
Exactly. We spent on those 12 days, and we were living glamorously, like staying in very nice places. We spent less than $1,000 on the trip.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Amazing.
And our round trip tickets were less than $300. She had a direct flight from San Jose to Denver, direct 6-hour flight, $113 on United, and just got it at a good time.
Yeah.
And it's like $113. It's in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it gets you to the place, and then you can stay in hostels. There's so many ways that you can travel for so cheap.
Yeah.
And my grandpa traveled to over 115 countries in his life. That's his book over there on the wall.
The Life of Louis Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
I'm first generation here in the United States, and
I love that.
My grandfather traveled the world. He left war-torn Spain when Franco was slapping down in the Spanish Revolution and the Spanish Civil War, and he got to the United States and was like, I need to see the world and learn cultures. And he wrote a book completely about his life and his travels and the experiences he had. He became best friends with the Princess of Saudi Arabia, of all things. And like the experiences that you build through travel I wouldn't trade them for the world.
Yeah.
So he planted this seed. My brother Nathan has been to like 75 countries, and he just turned 40. I've been to 40 plus countries, and I'm continuing to want to do this and never stop.
Yeah.
And it truly is, when you travel, you're building those communities and that connection that I talk about so frequently, but you're also learning that like your little bubble, not only is it not that important, but like there's a much larger bubble to experience.
Yeah.
Like little Denver, Colorado, it's cool, but there's so much more to see in this world.
Yeah.
So go out, see the world, people.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts on that, but I understand maybe not everyone tomorrow can just go out and start traveling full time, but I think even just seeking different perspectives from different cultures, and that can be like in your hometown. Like it doesn't have to be across the world. And I think I forget that sometimes when I'm in San Diego and even in Salt Lake. And I don't know, those are two of the places I'm taking Ubers most.
Yeah.
But some of the Uber drivers they're from all over the world.
Yeah.
I always have the most interesting Uber driver.
Yeah.
And the other day when I was in San Diego the other month, I think my Uber driver was from Uganda or something.
Yeah.
And I said, I really wanted to record it. And I was a little hesitant to be like, do you mind can I ask you a question? Do you mind if I record it? He didn't want me to record it. But I said, if there was one thing you wish Americans knew, what would it be? Yeah. And he said, he thought about it and he said, travel and see. And I was like, oh. I almost started crying. I was like, I wish I could have recorded that. Yeah. Like it was just, it just couldn't have been a more perfect answer, you know? He could have said like, moment. I wish I knew this, but no, travel and see. Yeah. And I think that is such a huge, I think as Americans, especially, like we live in this comfortable environment and we can only pull from like what we experience and what we know in our immediate environment. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's all we can take away and learn from how we're growing up or what our experiences are what shape us. So we can only pull from that. But I think that's a huge motivation in like creating these more like immersive travel experiences, especially in like kind of non-mainstream locations. Like nothing against Europe, but like I don't want to walk people around the streets of Europe and like see like I think history is one thing. I'm not a huge history person, but I think like the culture and the different perspectives and the different ways that people are living is really impactful for people to see. And it's something like, again, like Morocco is my favorite place I've ever traveled.
I love Morocco.
And it was because everywhere I looked, I was like, whoa, like I have never seen anything like that before. It just blew my mind. And I think like that's why I'm so interested in going to, I mean, like I mentioned, like Papua New Guinea and Bangladesh and India and countries like that. That's my travel interest primarily, is like kind of the places that maybe people don't think to go. And maybe it's not this luxury travel destination, but I don't know, like, what are you, I think you're getting maybe relaxation and then, I don't know, replenishment from a luxury travel vacation, but like you're not getting this deeper, I don't know, perspective, like expanded perspective. I keep going back to that. And I think also the more you can expand your perspective, I think it's easier to kind of like bridge divides in the world or have like more unity or more empathy around things that are going on and towards other people. And so I think the world needs that.
Absolute empathy.
Yeah. And just like
so important. It's
hard to understand others and the decisions that they're making and their values. And I think keeping an open mind and especially looking at like their background or their upbringing or like what, like it's important to factor that all in. And so I think as a person, I feel very, I guess, accepting and open-minded to others' values and beliefs. I think I get that from my mom. But I don't know if everyone's like that. I think the world in general could use a little bit more of that, just like acceptance and understanding and empathy and expanded perspective and unity. And so I'm hoping that those are things I can accomplish in building out these trips, and that seems like nearly impossible right now, honestly. I'm like, how am I gonna do that again? but like I think that I am. I don't know, I just have this delusion that I'm like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out. So. And we should definitely trade ideas and collaborate on this, because I am starting to jump into that space too. I get so many questions about travel. Like, I just went on this rafting trip. All I did was post like 3 or 4 stories. I haven't even posted about it. I've received like probably 60 plus messages of like, how did you get that permit? What was the process? This, that, whatever. And I would love to be able to host a trip like that for people to be like, wait, it's actually not that hard for you to do it on your own. And this is how we do it. This is how you can travel. This, like, open that door, because I think it's so difficult for people that maybe didn't travel growing up or haven't traveled really at all to be like, how the hell am I going to get to Papua New Guinea? Like, where do I even start? Like, and I'm sorry to tell you, people, staying at all-inclusive resorts in Cabo San Lucas is not really travel, but if it gets you out of where you're at, great, it's a start. But that's what I like try and stress, that go learn the cultures, like learn the people and learn about the food, learn about their values, have empathy. Like we talked about earlier in this podcast, the people sleeping under the bridges in big cities in the United States, they don't want to be there. Like, have empathy. Maybe sit down and talk to them. You don't even need to give them money. Sometimes all they want is like, hey, how's your day? Because people are terrified of... I think that would be a really cool concept for you. And I've like thought about that too, because I think for me, and this is maybe shifting more back to your story, it's so... I have so many questions, and I can't, from my background or my experience, like I can't understand, like I'm just like, to be in that spot or to experience what you've been through, I can't understand it. Like I can't even really begin to understand it, but I want to understand it. And I think I think about that with anyone that I see homeless and like their story. I'm like, how did they get there? Like, what are they dealing with? And I think it can be intimidating, obviously, like you,
for sure,
especially like in San Diego. I think it depends. Like, I guess the homeless populations are maybe slightly different in different places, but in San Diego specifically, like everyone's like, oh, like the tweakers are there. And I think there's been times where I've been walking on the street and like someone like has a knife, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on in their head. Like, so I feel like intimidated and scared, but then I also feel this kind of curiosity around how they got there and their experience. And so it's this kind of like fear, but also this curiosity. And I think that's always been interesting for me to like juggle, and I've probably never really done anything with that. But I think like when you messaged me about coming on this, I was like, oh, that like I would just love to hear his experience and like his story, because I can't.
Yeah.
I just want to understand it, and like I'm curious. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We can get coffee after
Oh,
this.
yeah.
and
another
you
another
can ask
conversation.
Ask all the questions you want. So something that I ask everyone that comes on this podcast, it comes from the world of recovery, but I always ask people what their burning desire is. And a burning desire is essentially something that you want the audience to hear. It can be something that...
I already know.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think my burning desire is my purpose. It's like the purpose that's pulling me. And I think what I want to be able to do, and what I've, over the last 2 years, like come to figure out what my purpose is. And really, I think I only came to this sort of definition in the last couple weeks, honestly. But I think my desire and what's pulling me is to empower others to become the truest version of themselves, and to find, I guess, the courage to step into new directions that they feel pulled, and find alignment with who they are, and in that have the ability to live fully. And I'm like, do I like the wording on that? I'm like, we're right there. And I'm like, I need to get it on paper. But I feel really pulled to do that. And like, really, it's what is ultimately like what is driving everything for me.
Yeah.
And I think I've been trying to be like, what is driving me? Like, why do I care about these things? Why is it important? What is pulling me? And it's that.
It's the purpose.
Yeah.
Life coach, whatever you want to call it, travel guide.
Who knows? Just
the
Sydney.
whole the awesome thing about what we do is that the world in general, people like pay for information, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole world is a basis of paying for information. We go to college, you're just paying a college to give you information.
Right.
Whatever it may be. The trading of information has happened for millennia. If it's a tribe or settlers or whatever coming together and trading information, that is how the world has worked. Mm-hmm. And helping people circulate all of this information that they're being flooded with nowadays on their phones, like all day long. You see UGC creators selling a product. You see travel people going on these incredible vacations. You see athletes performing, and you're consuming all this, and you're like, I want to do that. How do I do that? How do I do that? And your whole ideology of helping people find that purpose and that the guide aspect, I love it. Yeah. Helping people find that purpose is so important.
And the courage to chase it.
Yeah.
And the courage to like take it, to trust yourself and like take that first step. Yeah. Because I think people are just like stuck in this like monotonous life in their day to day, and they're not happy, and they know they need change, but they're not taking that first step to go a new direction. And I think it's important to realize that like you can look at these options all day, like all these different paths, all these different things. I think this would be good for me. I think I would enjoy this. But until you're in it, until you have taken a step and you're in it, you don't know how it's going to be for you. And I think we wait for this like certainty to be like, okay, I know that's going to be right, but you can't know. You can't know how being over here, like you can't know how you're going to feel in that position. You're not in that job, in that location that you moved to, in that lifestyle, whatever. You don't know how you're going to feel there until you're there. So don't wait to feel certain about like, you're not going to know. Like you can feel certain, like, okay, this is what my day would look like. Okay, this is how it's been for other people. This is if they've enjoyed it, whatever. Like you can be certain about those things, but you cannot be certain how you are going to feel in this place until you are in that place. So don't wait for that certainty to go to that place. You just have to be like, based on everything that I know, everything that I've put together, make the most educated decision for yourself in the next step that you should take, the next direction that you should walk. And have the courage and trust in yourself to take the step. And if it's not good, then you know it's not good. Then you can step to the side or step back or go a different direction and reassess. But you have to step somewhere. If you know you need to make a change, you have to step somewhere in some direction. You
Even
can't
if
just
it's
stay.
terrifying.
Yeah. You have to like face the unknown and take a step in that direction. And I think people need more support in doing that, because a lot of people will just tell you, you know, it's probably best to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
And I just disagree.
I totally disagree.
You need to change something.
Yeah. And I think the world that maybe our parents lived in the generation before, there was only one way to the top. You do X, Y, and Z, whether that's you go to college, you get a good degree, you punch your ticket, you get the 9 to 5, you work until you're 65, you get your pension, and that's that.
Yeah.
Like, that is the path to success. But that's not my path to success.
Yeah, or like, what even is success? Like
what
that's
is that
different
even,
for everyone.
Yeah, and the pressure that is put on people, especially like, let's say Gen Z or the generation below ours that's maybe getting out of high school and their parents are telling them they need to follow the path that they took.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that. Like, I promise you don't have to do that. There are other ways. There are other purposes in life. There's more than the rudimentary punch your ticket, turn 65. What the fuck are you going to do at 65? Like, you think I'm going to be climbing Annapurna or Everest at 65? Not a chance. Not a chance.
Yeah,
but I can do that now.
Yeah.
And I can train for the race, and I can go to Papua New Guinea, and I can go to Bangladesh, because I can do that now. Mm-hmm. And I've got the courage, which, like you mentioned, it takes a lot of courage, and it is really scary in the beginning, but taking that first step, that's the scariest part.
Yeah.
And it's basically only been uphill for me. Like, once I got over the hurdle, it was like, oh, wait, it's working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not everything works. I've been shooting a lot of darts at a lot of walls, and very few have stuck.
Yeah.
And that is also part of the process of, like, you are not going to buy an online course today and wake up tomorrow a millionaire traveler, influencer. Like,
yes.
Like, and you go on social media these days and you scroll, and it's just like, if you buy my $197 course, you'll be a millionaire tomorrow, and here's all the testimonials to prove it. It's like, what?
Yeah. I hate that about the online spaces, that it can feel so scammy, and that people are marketing things in ways that are not realistic for 99% of people.
Yeah.
And there's those like one-off people that have these like crazy success stories, but that is not the case for 99% of people. And I think, you get a false sense of that on social media. And the other thing I want to say about that is, like, every path, like, whatever, the 9 to 5 is like, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's going to, like, want to live the life that we're kind of living. Because it's not simple. Like, it's hard. It's hard to figure out, and it consumes my mind. There's no, like, it just doesn't stop. Like, I feel, we kind of hit on this already, but I saw something the other day that was like, pick your hard. Everything's going to be hard. Like, nothing's easy. Like, your 9 to 5 is going to be hard in some ways, and, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, it's going to be hard in other ways. Like, there's always going to be hard.
Yeah.
Pick your hard.
Yeah.
Nothing's easy. Like, I don't want to glamorize anything. Like, I'm not glamorizing social media or content creation or being an entrepreneur, or, like, I'm not glamorizing any of it. Like, none of it's just a different path.
Yeah.
And there's different paths for different people, because we're all unique in different ways.
Exactly.
So, like, there's no right path, there's no wrong path. There's just different options in life.
Yeah.
And some are going to suit other people, and, you know, like, we all have our own thing. Pick your hard.
Sydney, you're a gangster.
Thanks, I guess.
Picking your hard is so important for people to realize, because especially with social media, you look at it and you think, oh, that they're living the easiest life. They just get to travel and take photos of where they're at, and there's so much more to that. I work way more now as an entrepreneur, way more than I ever did
Yeah.
a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I work way more than 40 hours a week. And it might, to the outside population, a lot of what we do might not look like work.
Right.
But it's like actually work. Like pulling out
Yeah.
my camera and like planning out all these things, what we're doing right now. People are like, oh, you're just hanging out at home. And it's like, no, I woke up this morning. I had coffee. I had a meeting at 8:30. I knew Sydney was coming. I needed to set up the podcast studio, setting up lights, camera, all this. Now this needs to be edited. Like,
Also, you just moved here 24 hours ago.
I moved here 24 hours ago. And it's like, maybe the life that I'm portraying on social media looks like, oh, he just got off the river, this incredible thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Social media is fake. We're trying to make it more real.
Yeah.
But
that's why I do this podcast.
it is a highlight reel.
Yeah, it is a
But
highlight reel.
I mean, I can't hit it for that. Like we want to capture the good. We want to capture the happy. We want to, I don't know, put out the happy moments. But I think I appreciate when, like, just bringing it back down a notch and being like, yeah, it's not like I am sharing the highlights. Like these are the highlights, and then also incorporating some of the like lows or challenges that come with that. Like
I love your story time thing that you do. I need to start doing this.
Oh my god,
Just
but I
like
did
many
it.
of them.
The Sundays.
Yeah.
I started on. Then that's been the only one. Maybe I got to do one today. No, it's not. It's not even Sunday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah,
I
it
think
could be-
Wednesday, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
even know
See,
what
this
day
is one of those things where it was like, oh, this is a great idea, and then it did the consistency.
Yeah.
It's another word.
It's tough.
Tough. Yeah.
I loved that though, of like, you're just kind of spewing your
Just
life,
talking.
and it's not like, this is not always sunshine and rainbows. Like,
yeah.
content creators and people on the internet, they're literally humans too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget they have like their favorite influencers or their favorite athletes or whatever, and they put them on this pedestal of, oh my God, their life is so perfect and glamorous, and it's not always like that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate people like you, people, I'll give myself some credit, just like talking about the non-glamorous things.
Yeah.
And so many people that I have on this podcast that had the courage, like we were saying, to like take that step of like, ooh man, being in front of a camera, being on a podcast, and also talking about a kind of uncomfortable subject of mental health. Like, I get it. It's scary for people to make that first leap, and then they come on here and they're sharing things that they've never shared about, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Also, that imposter syndrome comes on of like, I don't.
How do I handle this?
How do I handle this?
Am I qualified for this?
Yeah.
No, I'm bringing it up on a podcast. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I very much appreciate that. I very much appreciate you and what you're doing, and appreciate you coming out of your way to come onto the podcast.
Of course.
The listeners of this are going to love this.
Hopefully.
You have a very awesome story that needs to be highlighted, and you took the bumpy road, the unconventional path. You'd probably be on a ship right now,
Yeah.
and doing that was probably the comfortable thing to like. Your life is all figured out, like you're saying. You're like, you wake up the same time. You've got these like deployments, everything's set up. You're good to go. You just got to get up and show up.
It's easy to stay.
It's easy to stay.
It's easy to stay.
And you took the very uneasy, bumpy road that is turning into smooth sailing. In a lot
Hopefully.
of ways.
I think hopefully in the near future.
In the near future.
We'll figure it out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Sydney.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
I am so active in my DMs on Instagram. You guys have no idea. I will be sending people like 3-minute voice notes when you're hitting the right topics. I love it. That's a huge driver in like why I'm launching my community, because I'm like, I this is a lot to talk to individual people about, and so I wanted to connect those people together within the community, and also be on the live calls so I could address multiple things to multiple people at once. So I'm really excited about that. You can find me on Instagram at Blue Latitude. Unfortunately, with 2 E's, Blue Latitude with 2 E's.
Okay.
Figure that out. But that's the best place to find me.
All of in the show notes, we'll have you listed, all of your
Awesome.
information, how to get a hold of you. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Falling Off the Floor podcast. We are out.